a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool. Guys, good evening. What are you guys doing? You see, sometimes when you want some question answer, you have to call in the expert. This evening I will have Herb Nelson Jr. and his accountant on my platform. They're not gonna come live today. Next time I will show the picture and all of that when we're in the studio. But right now, they're gonna call in and we're gonna hear them loud and clear, talking about some issues in Jamaica. I don't know Herb. So that's where we're going tonight. We are calling the experts to answer some questions we call us have myself. So we could play a tune again. Yeah. Yeah. What do you say? Any good? Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. Hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again. What we gonna eat no money, what we at you, eat no at you. Covid money, me say we eat the little rat you. Use the youth, them money, waste for most of man statue. Say me like a cash, but me got enough, they got you. Take this script and money, girl, and say that is not you. One day the man above end up, him a got a bit too much. It in the kitchen, some a fly by like a patu. My singers and DJs and social media's coming at you. It's on me. 300% free. It's on me. Garbage pile of the day. It's on me. Give the teacher them raise. It's on me. I see corruption please. It's on me. Mash down the people them out. It's on me. Every day appear arms out. It's on me. Appear money them a thief. It's on me. And them a sell out the beach. Can't for me again. You can't for me again. I just want to know me have Herb Nelson Jr. tonight. It's a pleasure to have them man up on the platform to come spit some knowledge and give me some education up there, so. Some call for the experts to come and explain certain things people when understand so much. So a man have such great experience and the man have great knowledge. So me have to call him on tonight. He's coming shortly. Maybe listen to tune a little bit more. Yeah, man, I want to say. Can't fool that again. Hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again. Come me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The 100 the promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth, they rap and they down in a whatever. Member bowl money and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start and thief when them sell. It burn me. On them treat the market man. It burn me. On them a treat the cat man. It burn me. On them treat the peanut man. It burn me. On them a treat the dirt man. It burn me. On them a treat the sun man. It burn me. On them a treat policeman. It burn me. On them a treat soldier man. It burn me. On them a treat everyone. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. Yes, people, we done for a very long time. Can't buy sugar. Very good show tonight. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again. I mean, say put that where we do, you make you do with that. All of the money, you take, you better give it back. All of the land, you take, you know we want it back. All of the beach, you tip, you better give it back. And you know, sign the code, conduct, we don't want you back. You know, declare you asset, and we don't want you back. You can feel in your pocket, and we don't want you back. Have your hand deep in a corruption, we don't want you back. Well, guys, I said tonight, guys, we're going to talk to Herb tonight. But before we talk to Herb, we're going to play just
2 clips. And after these clips, that's what we're gonna use as we are going now. So this is one of them. Cause Herbert come give me shed some light on what I'm going on. So Ian is accountant. You know, man, I know about economics. I don't. So listen to this.
Through the sacrifice of your parents.
So this is where the primes are talking to the kids them again. We play it already. But we don't understand the part here. Through the sacrifice of our parents. Make the people them, we don't have no budget for this, no budget for that. And said it paid down the debt. So we want some truth and education to I and the community. Listen.
Through the sacrifice of your parents, who endured new taxation almost every year, no budget to repair roads, no budget to invest in healthcare, no budget to invest in public transportation, no budget to invest in garbage collection, no budget to build the auditorium that you're asking for. No budget to pay increased wages to public servants. And we went through that process in order to bring down our debt.
I want you guys to hear that. It's we went through that process to bring down our debt. So we're not a budget for road, no budget for healthcare. So while they were saying that they're spending most on this, people, Labor them telling a lie. Labor them telling a lie. Big old con. We're spending most on this and the most on that. So I tell the student, them at Geisel High School, them was the people. It was at Geisel High School talking to the youth them. You know, giving them a pep talk or whatever. I never groom for vote. And I tell you them say, them parents make sacrifice. So the government could pay down the debt. So while the government was telling you guys, them spending most on everything. Big line of 2 people. Labor right, come here. Very deceptive people then. That's why I have Herb Vanessa tonight to come give us some light and some knowledge on what going on. The man is accountant. Because listen to this one more time. Listen to the sacrifice of parents make. If parents make sacrifice, the youth make sacrifice too. Because parents have the money for pay to keep the lights on and food on the table and put juice in the fridge and food in the fridge. What happened to the youths? What this man I tell that their parents made sacrifice. Listen one more time.
Through the sacrifice of your parents, who endured new taxation almost every year, no budget to repair roads, no budget to invest in healthcare, no budget to invest in public transportation, no budget to invest in garbage collection, no budget to build the auditorium that you're asking for. No budget to pay increased wages to public servants. And we went through that process in order to bring down our debt.
So basically, the PM say, punish the nation to bring down our debt. So we're going to talk to the brother tonight. Brother Mike call and see what I'm have to say about that. But me also,
GoodRx is invaluable. I use it daily.
Me also have another interesting video to play before we bring out Herb, because these are the videos that Herb is gonna address for me. Because we play these videos for you guys, but we don't understand what we are listening to. That's true. Listen.
The Jamaica Accountability Meter portal, JAMP, views as worrying the revelation that some government ministries have been unable to properly account for trillions spent over a 10-year period.
Listen.
Executive Director Jeanette Calder says the permanent secretaries must be called to answer. How was the money spent? That's the trillion-dollar question being asked by Auditor General Pamela Monroe Ellis. In a Gleaner article, it was revealed that the Auditor General's department is being hindered from independently assessing how more than $1.6 trillion was utilized between two ministries and the Office of the Prime Minister, OPM. Those ministries are the Education and Health ministries. Mrs. Monroe Ellis noted that for 9 fiscal years, spanning 2012-2013 to 2018-19 and 2021-2022 to 2022-23, Parliament approved $902 billion, representing 13.7% of the national budget, to manage and administer public education in Jamaica. However, no appropriation account was done. It was a similar case for the Health Ministry, which Parliament had approved $695 billion to. The Auditor General said the accounting officer in the ministry submitted 15 of the 22 appropriation accounts for financial years 2013-2014 to 2022-23, but those did not meet the standards for submission. As for the Office of the Prime Minister, 3 appropriation accounts representing an accumulated budgetary allocation of approximately $12.02 billion are outstanding. Executive Director of the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal, JAMP, Jeanette Calder, says based on the revelation, the country has been left in a quandary. She says the issue begins and ends with the permanent secretaries.
The permanent secretary needs to make sure that after 4 months when the year ends, she sends her report to Parliament to say, what have we done with the people's money? All right. When that don't happen, Delia, who's supposed to come and say, what are gone? The people who get the report.
Yes.
Who are those? Are parliamentarians. So we have parliamentarians, for example, the Ministry of Health, for 10 years has not told our parliamentarians, told our Auditor General what they have done with our money. How much money we're talking about? Just a little bit under $700 billion. And that is a report that they have gotten every year for the last 10 years till it add up to $700 billion. What is the work our parliamentarians are doing for us?
She says what needs to be done is for citizens to understand the accountability framework, because only then will people be truly held accountable for the crisis facing the country.
Who do we call for? The first time something goes wrong. The minister. Gentle folks, there are 7. No, Simone, that's the thing. There are 17 people in government with more teeth than a minister to sanction and to hold people to account. We don't know them things, Delia. So when these things go wrong, who we call? The political representative, who in the law has the least amount of power to do something about sanctioning and holding people to account.
Councillor.
Want to hear that, people? $1.6 billion out of 2 ministries, the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Education, and the Prime Minister Office. Them figures are too bigger than me. Me know if not, me can write $1.6 billion, almost 0 people. People, them money are gone, serious thing from poor people at Jamaica. So, right now, me go call Herb. Definitely call her people. You have to come tell me something while I go on there. So come and understand why I go on to Jamaica. Call Herb Nelson Jr. Other person.
Hello, good sir. How you doing?
Good evening, brother Herb. Let me add your accountant real quick.
Yeah.
And a brother Michael.
Good evening, brother Herb. Let me add your accountant real quick. Call you back. Or can you come in about 45 minutes? Can you come in about 45 minutes?
All right, you can jump back on. All right, brother. All right. All right, cool.
No. I'm here.
Oh, you're here? Oh, I thought I was talking about.
I'm here. Yes, I'm here.
All right.
No, I was ending the other call.
Okay.
I was ending my other call.
All right, cool. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. I need some education for me and my audience today, and we have something that is gonna be cloudy, so that like a little more clarity on it. Brother Herb, you have heard? Was you listening to the show before the introduction?
Yes. So what I'm hearing is that might be some confusion with the government putting out a lot of information, and especially since they love to talk about the GDP reduction and the surplus that they're having. They boast about that. I mean, yeah, it's all well and good to have a surplus, but then if the surplus is at the expense of the population, first they told us a couple of years back, we can't touch the billion US dollars that they had in reserves because the IMF wouldn't let them do it. And now with all of the talking they're doing, it's coming out that they're the ones who don't want to spend the money because they want to reduce GDP and they want to have a surplus in the budget. But at the same time, bridges are washed away, roads are washed away, people can't get back and forth to their jobs, they can't get to school, to church, right? Their kids are at risk because they have to deal with flooding and landslides, right? All the things that government is supposed to provide in services is gone to hell in a handbasket. And now the report that JAMP just came out with talking about the ministries, the permanent secretaries specifically, cannot account for 1.6 trillion Jamaican, which I think is about 10 point something billion US, right? They can't account for the money. They simply cannot account for the money. So how can you keep spending like a drunken sailor and you don't know how much money you really have in the kitty? How can, I mean, you're supposed to have a budget every year, and you're supposed to be trying to balance your budget. All right, let me talk about the permanent secretaries for a minute. Permanent secretaries in Jamaica, the chief policy advisors to the portfolio of the ministry. Whether it's health, whether it's education, whether it's national security, or whether it's defense, they're the ones that keep a running tally and everything. They have oversight of public accounting and financial management of the ministry. They're supposed to be ensuring the accounts of government are faithfully and properly kept. In other words, they're the go-to people when the minister needs to know if he can spend any more or if he have any more to spend. Right? Now, check this out. Technically speaking, the Prime Minister has been using some strange tactics to get the people who are the accountants that's supposed to hold him accountable, that is supposed to demonstrate transparency within those ministries. What did he do for them? He took the salaries to go from $17.8 million a year to 20.2 and then up to 22.8.
Repeat it again, Herb. Repeat it again, please.
The permanent secretaries, right? The current salary that they were getting last year, I know, was 7.4 million.
7 people.
7.4 million. Now, as of this year, salaries will go from will go to 17.8 million. It already has gone there as of April.
And then this year, it will go up to 22.8 million, effective April 2024.
300%.
Yes. Well, yeah. When you're looking at this, right, they are being paid off not to do their jobs. They're being paid off for the slackness. He's done the same thing for the judges as well, who would have to adjudicate in case they get sued. Because now they worry about lawsuits since Mr. Rattigan has stepped up the threats to start suing for malfeasance, misfeasance, and non-feasance.
Let me ask you a question, Herb, before you get a little bit deeper there. Get back to the other clip of a play where the Prime Minister said out of his mouth, no budget for roads, no budget for health care, no budget for education, and all this thing. Herb, we heard, sorry, we heard the Prime Minister plus his compadres many times saying that they spend the most on this and the most on that, Herb. And he was telling the kids then that their parents sacrifice. And they know if parents sacrifice, Herb, you know the kids must suffer too. Because if parents sacrifice, that means they can't buy food and can't put on the light and they can't buy something to put on the fridge. You know they can't buy uniform, can't buy books, and they can't buy school shoes for the kids. So the youth them talk about the parents sacrifice, and the youth them suffer for that, claiming that in paying down the debt. Herb, tell me, Herb, how low did that make an effect on the debt, Herb? Can you say my paying on the debt? If Michael want to answer, you want to answer on this. Did the debt in Jamaica touch the debt?
You want to take that, Ian, or you want me to answer?
Well, right. Carlos, here's the problem. You have a three-ring circus going on here. And here's what I call the three-ring circus. As you know, in the three-ring circus, you can't watch all the acts, right? I'll keep it even more basic than that. If you give the Prime Minister brownie points for saying forthrightly what they're not able to do, that'll be, you can say in a situation where there's integrity and transparency, you can say, well, give him an A for courage. However, it's more dangerous in my opinion. I'll tell you why. Whether you want to talk about the permanent secretaries, who are what they're responsible for, the Prime Minister and the Cabinet are responsible for the well-being of the country. The teachers who are leaving Jamaica to come here to the U.S. are not that well paid. They get a good dollar, and in the first 2 years of their employment, the dollar is literally tax-free. After that, they could conceivably be sent back to Jamaica, or they have to find a way to gain a foothold in the US of A. And why I speak of the teachers is the money lost that the Auditor General spoke of was $700 billion. That could have made the teaching community happy with half that money for salary increases. We're not talking about rocket science here. We're talking about basic integrity. If you're going to build the foundation of the country, you cannot seek ways to destroy and undermine the education system. Jamaican scholars are well known throughout the world. Jamaica still has many super performing children in the school system. And yet, all the high schools who have produced magnificent students at various levels are being starved for funding for the teachers. So this is a more vicious and dangerous problem than we realize. And to add insult to injury, If you talk about who's responsible for what, it is the Prime Minister and the Cabinet who's responsible for the well-being of the country. The permanent secretaries don't make the rules, but they are following the rules that are laid out for them.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't keep playing the blame game. Okay? You can't keep playing the blame game. You have to have some noise. The average Jamaican, I got even better for you. Let's say the people who are in the bottom tier of the economy are struggling to make a living, don't have a dime, don't have a pot to, you know what, in or a window to throw it out of. They're the ones struggling, so they're not really inclined to follow the politics. But the question that begs is, in my mind, is, does middle-class Jamaica really know the danger the country is in? I mean, the Prime Minister laid out a very ambitious schedule of development in the Kingston Wharves, which is one of the deepest piers in all of North America. Mm. He talks about these buildings that they're refurbishing for container. Jamaica, one of the best container shipment ports in the Northern Hemisphere, in North America. Mm-hmm. Forget the Caribbean, but in North America. And there are other developments planned in the Clarendon area and the like for these IT centers that are going to do magnificent works. All those are great things. So what I said earlier to three-ring circus is, you're planning all these things on one side, you're not paying your teachers or even providing more schools and adequate services within the schools for the children, okay? And you have this massive theft of money on the other side.
But hold on, my brother. So let me ask a question. Why is it a problem when it is said that Jamaica is the financial superpower in the Caribbean?
It's hyperbole. It's hyperbole.
Talk to me about that.
In another setting, the British call it bollocks, and in America we call it BS. You can figure the rest out what we mean by that. It's the polite thing to call it is hyperbole. It's said. It's like you throw the stone in the crowd and say who it hits and who balls out the loudest. Mm-hmm. These things are said and meant to distract. It's a distraction. But it is a three-ring circus. You cannot have a massive theft of $1.7 almost trillion and talk about development over here, and then you have the school system falling apart. Where are you going to find the workers?
And that
we are supposed.
Mm-hmm. You're right. And that note, I'm going to pull back in Herb. Herb, what can we do about this? One point, because Herb, we try to beg them to stop in the Herb. We try to beg them to stop, Herb. I think it's time to stop begging. What can we do about this theft, Herb? What must we do, my brother?
Well, the Minister of National Security, Dr. Chang, made a statement to the head of the anti-crime task force, Dr. Rupert Francis. What he said to him was, Jamaica has highly qualified people in law enforcement. I know FID, and I know the fraud squad, and I know other police special teams like MOCA and CTOC, right? You have police officers who are actually lawyers. You have police officers who are actually CPAs. You have highly qualified people. But the question then, will you let them do their respective jobs? Will you let them function as they should? Mm-hmm. And the answer is they're not going to do that. Because if these guys do what they're supposed to do, they're going to be slapping cuffs on all of these ministers. They're going to be going to jail. And they have not upgraded prisons sufficiently to have any prison that they desire to go and stay in for 10 years or longer. Or that even for 10 minutes or longer, I should say. Right? So we have to be serious. You can't have the opposition being drawn into this. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Being pulled in with pay raises. Because now the head of the opposition, his salary will go to 20 million or more.
Mm-hmm.
And the other opposition folks, their salary will go to 14, 15 million dollars.
Jaja.
So everybody's sitting pretty. And they're sitting up and they stroking their lips because of this new influx of funds. But we have not seen adequate job descriptions or had those job descriptions made out to be the marker as to whether they should receive the next pay raise in April.
Mm.
Because that should be the key to giving somebody a pay raise. What have you accomplished in the House? What have you accomplished in the Senate? And if the answer is zero, then the pay raise should be zero. You know, matter of fact, some of them need to give out the money because they have not been doing anything. They don't say a word. They sit up in Parliament and they stay quiet.
Worse.
But Carlos, there's another issue there.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we only hearing from the Auditor General 10 years down the road?
I really don't know right now. Why would I say you're finding right now? What do you think?
Because the Auditor General has a role as an oversight role. Okay? I don't know if your Integrity Commission is a commission of merit or of puppetry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Are they puppeteers or are they people, distinguished people who were charged with a responsibility of maintaining the country's standing in terms of its integrity and its anti-corruption laws?
Good question.
These are, you see, because Carlos, I find it farcical. It's a joke that an Auditor General comes to work for 10 years. This has happened. Why isn't Auditor General issuing an annual report to show progress or lack thereof?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a light being shined on the process of money management in the country by the government. And it doesn't matter which government, with PNP, GLP, or no PP. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. The Auditor General should have a role to play to speak publicly without fear of retaliation and the like. But as Herb said, if you pay the people who are floundering in their jobs, if you reward them, then what is your purpose? Mm-hmm. Is your purpose to make progress or to obfuscate and confiscate? It's that simple. There's so much screaming here, a lack of leadership,
mm-hmm.
a lack of integrity, and forgive me, I will say this. Mr. Chang is right. Jamaica has brilliant people in law enforcement, but not only law enforcement. Jamaica has brilliant people, period. Whether it be in Jamaica or outside Jamaica, I have not met an island with more outstanding scholars and effective leaders than the island of Jamaica. And I am thoroughly biased because it's the land of my birth.
Mm-hmm.
But I speak the truth. So we have all these people who are capable. And yet, you have these reports of malfeasance and mismanagement, and nobody seems alarmed.
No.
I don't understand why the opposition is screaming from the top of the mountain as to what's going on. I don't understand how the regular people in the street are not upset. And worst of all, your press is supposed to represent the voice of the people. Where is your press?
No press.
Where is the newspaper people?
No opposition.
Where's the television people? Everybody's silent.
Yeah, everything. It works in favor of the Prime Minister of this administration right now. Because the people are silent. The press not doing their job. The opposition is mum.
It's tragic. It's like the plague.
Plague.
It's like the plague. And everybody got sick. Because the people who you expect to hear from, who the people of Jamaica have a right to say what's going on, are all silent. This is like the impact when a mob family takes over, you know. The innocent people say, well, I don't want to get killed, so I'm not answer nothing. But this is the problem. The silence is deafening.
So, Herb.
Yeah.
So in our situation, us up here in the diaspora, call to action, our group, Dr. Francis, what can we do from our end since nothing can be done in Jamaica? Can you see we started protests over here? What can we do in terms of call to action from our end?
In terms of call to action, what we're discussing is adding the colleges and the university students who are of Jamaican heritage and any of the Caribbean students that want to join in. Because the same thing is happening across the board in other islands as well, right? We talk about identifying the problem. Malfeasance is the intentional doing of something that is illegal or wrong, right? And that means like somebody's embezzling money, accepting bribes, or committing murder or acts of malfeasance. Misfeasance is a wrongful or injurious exercise of lawful authority. For example, you make a mistake cutting corners during construction and the building collapse. That's misfeasance. Or using excessive force during an arrest. These are acts of misfeasance, right? Nonfeasance is a failure to do something that should have been done, resulting in harm or damage. For example, failing to report a crime or neglecting to perform a duty or acts of nonfeasance. So, when you fail to report a crime that you witnessed, it's a criminal act. You need to report these people. You need to turn them in. You know, see something, you say something. And if it means you do it undercover, you write a letter, you use your cell phone, you take pictures, right? You submit the evidence if you don't want to speak up. But you got to say something because this can't go on any longer. Jamaica's taking a beating, a battering. And people have to respond to the goodness that's in our hearts for each other as the good citizen, as we would say. You know, you got to do something. The murders are off the Richter scale. It's not dropped below 1,200, which was the last low count in the whole 7 years that the Labour Party been in power. And according to Amnesty International, it would appear as if the government decided a while back, just make them kill each other. Let them take one another out. And this thing with the scamming and all of this other stuff where if you don't pay off the monies that you have earned through scamming and you cut out somebody, then that person going to be looking for your family members and killing 3, 4, or 5 of them at a time to get revenge. People who don't have nothing to do with the scam. And this is why we got to change. We got to talk to our family members, and we got to ensure that this slackness, this kind of vile, wicked activity cease. Doesn't go on anymore. You know, and if government, the prime minister, the best thing he could have done when he went to that school, not take his politics there, not try to explain stuff that has his shortcomings on. He should talk to the kids about taking care of each other, looking out for each other, about team building, right? Talk about bringing in the sporting activities in conjunction with the private sector, the Project Star, to help in the communities. That's what he should have been talking about. That's what he got the money from the Vice President of the United States and from the Foreign Minister in the UK, right? $30 million from the Vice President, and another, I think, about 40 million plus from the UK Minister. The question is, where did the money go? Where's the transparency? Where's the accountability? That's the same problem we have with these permanent secretaries and the Auditor General. 10 years down the road, you're going to hear, oh man, you know, they totally misappropriated the funds.
Why do you think that? Why do you think it doesn't come out? Or why do you think them just coming out after 10 years? Why no?
Because they've been in 7 years. So whatever the other party did, that was covered over. It's just covered over. Well, whatever they did, the other party said nothing. That's corruption.
They cover for each other. Would you say that?
Cover for each other. So you tell me, what's the difference between both parties?
Wow, people, you guys here? You guys are here?
You
continue, brother.
They gotta speak up. That's why they're in office. That's why you voted for them and put them in office. So that they speak up loudly and clearly. We said a while back that it's bad for the Prime Minister to serve in Parliament because that's the legislature. That's where they're supposed to legislate, supposed to debate. But they can't do that. The cabinet sitting up in there with the Prime Minister. He's the executive. The new constitution needs to move him and the whole cabinet out. And then you have a speaker, and then you have a majority leader and a minority leader. They have to fix that in the worst way. And once you fix that, then you're going to have, it's like in court. You have a prosecutor and you have a defense. And it's an adversarial system. They argue against each other to convince a judge or a jury about a certain matter. And in doing so, you use the law to get the truth out there, right? And for the media to write about it. In this case, the media is missing in action, and there's no argument coming from Parliament. The only argument I ever heard was when that loudmouth MP from the Prime Minister's office tried to get the law passed that would cut down on the powers of the Integrity Commission.
Yeah, I know him. Yeah.
And that didn't work because the man who ran, the Minister of Tourism who ran that committee had integrity.
They talk about Warmington. They're talking about
Warmington.
Yes. You know, I think is it Hilton is the Minister of Tourism? No, not Hilton. What name?
The same guy. You're talking about them. Where's that integrity?
He has integrity.
Yeah.
He won't listen to a Warmington with his ignorance. But we need more people like him that will stand up and put their foot down. Oh, he should be the darn Speaker of the House. And then we could get the rest of these Integrity Commission files in there and revealing who are the people you should not be voting for. Who are the people that are enriching themselves?
Wow.
You know, one thing I said a long time ago, when the U.S. banned certain people and took their visas, there should have been a massive investigation to find out what were those reasons. And if it were true, then sanction them. Either kick them out of the party, fine them a massive fine, but sanction them. Make them straighten up and fly right.
Mm-hmm.
None of that ever happened.
No.
This prime minister has no control over his membership. He tried to make changes to the cabinet, and the two women, education and foreign affairs, they reject him outright. And he couldn't do anything. He told two old men they had to go retire.
Well, I had a call on yesterday, Herbert. And I had a call on yesterday, and the caller was saying something like the prime minister can't remove anybody because he's too corrupt. And then we'll fix it.
If you have lost your integrity, you lose your leadership position, you lose the high ground. So how are you going to tell somebody how to act when you're not acting with conformity? Well, that's what people have to look at. That's why people need to vote. And they need to vote their conscience. If they offer you money, take the money because you need the money, but vote your conscience. Right? Keep in mind that these guys are going in there and their salary for the future is $100 million. And even the opposition, their salary for the future is $70 million, a minimum. So how much is your salary when they hand you $5,000 or $10,000? You divide that for the 5 years. That's $2,000 a year. You give up your soul, you sell your soul, so somebody can go in there and mess you up for the next 5 years.
Yeah. So today, also part of this clip I played, I can't play it right now because all my devices I use. No. Part of the clip we played, the prime minister was saying to the kids, the students, that there's a notion that Jamaica is making enough money to take care of its own, making enough revenue to take care of its bills and everything. He said that's not so. He said Jamaica is not making enough money to take care of its bills and this and that. So I ask a question: if the prime minister armed with all this knowledge, Herb and brother, why is it? Why did they take 300% raise? Brother Ian, why did they take 300% raise, knowing that we're not happy like that? He was telling the kids them that we're not happy like that. But why did they take 300% raise?
That's what he should have apologized to those kids and explained to them, right? That's something that they'll do maybe 2 to 3 years down the road once they get their act together. Because they're underperforming. And if you remember what he said, the reason why he got the raise, that they weren't performing for the little bit of money, this $7 million or the $4 million a year they were getting. That they weren't performing. So that was an admission out of his own mouth that they have not performed on behalf of the people of Jamaica. But now that they're getting 14 to 28 million, what are they doing?
Worse.
You know, they're coming up with excuses. So it seemed to me that they're cashing out. And if they cash out and they still win the seat next election and they become the opposition, they're still going to make $14-15 million a year, which is more than twice the salary, and 3 times the salary that the opposition was getting, which was $4-point-something million.
Win for them. No lose.
Win-win. Either way, they can't lose.
So
that's what he should be apologizing to those kids for.
Jesus.
The kids, they don't understand what he's saying.
No.
He refused to go back and speak to the university, college crowds, because they understand what he's saying. They understand what he's about. And they'll criticize him. And he can't take criticism.
Yeah, he went to the college one time. Remember what happened? You saw that video, Herb? He went to the college once. We saw that.
Yeah. And they got on his case.
Yes.
They argued with him. He tried to make a point, and the young man got up and talked about NIDS.
Yes.
Now, if you sold NIDS to the nation, it doesn't take a whole lot to sell it to college students. You truly feel that you're giving them protection. But when they ask a relevant question about their privacy and stuff, he comes back to the kid, answering him, shouting at him, and beating him down.
You heard that?
I mean, that was wrong. And then the other kid asked him to apologize, and he wouldn't.
No. Arrogance.
You know, because he's a big man. He's a tough guy. He's the prime minister.
Yeah. Arrogance. Guys, I hope you guys watch that tape. I hope you guys go watch that footage in it, because it's out there. It's out there, guys. What Herb is talking about. So, Herb, let's talk about.
Yes.
Let's talk about the Housing Trust. This stuff about Housing Trust, what's going on? The Housing Trust, out of the Prime Minister, we could talk about this corruption out of the Prime Minister's office. What it seems as if the Prime Minister gave a no-bid contract to a friend of his. Now it's in court. You have anything to say about that? You are Ian? Anyone of you?
Carlos, it's the same problem again. The oversight process is broken. It's broken to the point of being non-existent. In one way, you give the press credit for reporting on that story, but you're like the guy on the shore watching the Titanic go down and can't even help the passengers. This is what it's like right now. Because at the end of the day, it's still the same thing. It is rumored, and I say rumored, that the Prime Minister has not yet signed his financial declaration because it's not true. It's not accurate. And if he signs it, that will be fraud. Because you will knowingly submit a document that's fraudulent. But there appears to be no standard that compels him to do so or step aside. If you are that corrupt, you should be asked to step aside. Because yes, you know, and the so-called Integrity Commission again is invisible. The titles of the people on that commission are noble titles. Honorable Jamaicans who have served in capacities where integrity has to be forthcoming, and therefore these men and possibly women, I'm not sure if there are many women on the Integrity Commission, have offered to volunteer to give the people of Jamaica comfort that the stewardship is good, strong, and has a bright future. But they have done none of those things. Why? Because they can't say that. If at the heart of their integrity is, man, I can't lie to my people. So that being said, we have a system of laws and institutions. They're not just dysfunctional, but disreputable and dishonest. That is sad. Because I don't see any limit to what my people can do. I've met many in all walks of life in the United States, and they're all excellent performers in their respective professions. So if you go to the root, if the branches of the tree have borne such wonderful fruit, therefore the tree must be strong. But when you go to the tree, you see them poisoning the tree. If you go back 50 years or more, what got Jamaica in trouble? Their inability to build their education system. Back in the 60s, coming into the 70s, they had to get money to borrow money to build schools. Mm-hmm. That money was also wasted, stolen or whatever. You're not asking for a system of perfection here, Carlos. What you're asking for is a system of accountability that gives the average man in the street a chance for his child or children to grow up and be better than he was. You don't want to have lifelong people on a welfare system that's so empty of promise and nutrition, physical nutrition, that the people are, because everybody has a different scam. And that's what Jamaica gives the appearance of. The people are so deprived of opportunities that all they do is sit down and come up with different scams to see what they can get.
Analyze.
That's not the way to build a country. And we're still a relatively young democracy. But that is not the way to go about it. So if you can't fortify your institutions of accountability, like the Auditor General, then what has to happen is Jamaicans should form some kind of overseas council that say, hey, we know the profile. We want that profile to be untarnished, and start finding ways to impact the governance, to force outside scrutiny, as much as it might be contested and resented, because the people of Jamaica are not being informed. Wow. The newspapers are negligent, grossly negligent in informing the people. Perhaps the so-called newspaper people don't even know what questions to ask, given the level of malfeasance and fraud going on. Wow. So that's the name of the game. Okay, that's the name of the game.
Well, thank you, Ian.
So, I mean, that's the only way to go about it, my brother.
Thank you for that answer, my brother. Herb, what do you have to say about this, my brother? The story about the NHT, I said that story about the NHT. I'm sure you see it was in the group chat. So I saw it there about this NHT. So what do you have to say about this NHT? Can you explain it a little bit to these people right here and let them understand what part of the law is broken here or what's going on when it smells good? Please.
Well, the NHT has been to Jamaica what Social Security funds is to our national governments here in the United States. In other words, it's a feeding trough. When you come up short and you want to balance your budget or you want money to do something that you had promised, you dip into Social Security. Well, they've been dipping into the NHT funds for quite a while. And apparently, the intention of the fund was to help with low-income people to get homes. The NHT gets criticized for being a non-pro-poor agency, as only high-income earners seem to get the help, right? They struggle to address the problem of informal settlements. You know, when you leave the airport and you're coming along Rockfort there, and you look up on Warwick Hill and all them other places, and you see where a man built his castle. Only problem is the castle is well ventilated. And if a hurricane comes, you have to move them out of the area, put them in the national arena until the hurricane passes. So the NHT was supposed to help with the improvement of infrastructure, sanitation, and security. They apparently launched programs to regularize these communities, give them upgrades, but they've been hampered by delays, bureaucracy, and a lack of resources. So the same monies that the PM claimed that they have surplus of, why was it never introduced to the NHT to help these people?
Good question.
Right? These people are corrupt. Mismanagement and political interference in its projects and its operation. They don't have no trust or confidence from the public. You know? And they're thinking of maybe restructuring the NHT to focus on providing access to affordable low-income housing. I've seen build a few homes, one-bedroom efficiency homes, where when you step up on the step and you go on the porch, you know, that's about 3 steps right there. So the 4th step, you're in the house. If you take 6 more steps, you're out the back door. It's not enough because, as you and I know, Carlos, Jamaican men, when they're with a woman for a while, they drop kids every year.
True.
So you may have a woman with 6 kids and then the man gone. Right? And so she's struggling, hustling, then turn around and have the kids them hustling. I see kids out there selling the Star, selling the Gleaner, the Observer. You know?
True.
And I'll just give them money for the whole batch and tell them, well, if you can sell anything else, you know, it's up to you. But these kids, the same kids go to school, and when they graduate, because they spend their life working from age 6 and up, hustling, they leave school and they can't read, write, or comprehend. Same schools having a problem keeping up, and you have the teachers leaving the island. You know, when the Cubans were there and the Cubans had different clinics around the island, they were manned. Well, Jamaica's nurses, them, do the same thing the teachers do. They head down the yellow brick road to the US, earn a lot of money, and they don't look back. You know, when we asked the Minister of Health about it, you know, he says, well, he goes back overseas to recruit the same people who just left.
So now,
I mean, it's a merry-go-round.
It is. It is. So we have another question here. Well, we just saw the Prime Minister about 4 days ago talking to them kids. It was a recent video. When I was telling these kids that their parents made sacrifice so that they could pay down the bills. It made the people struggle. There's no, listen, Herb, there's no budget for the road. There's no budget for public transportation. There's no budget for a lot of things. So it made the people suffer. So no, Herb, there's no budget because he must save the money to pay down the debt. So now may I read to the Herb, may I see where the government, with Prime said give 56 parliamentarian $150 million for the road. And you and I know, Herbs, election money that we give Dan man, Inch man, money for going in a pocket for buy vote. Herb, if it's a lie I'm telling, tell me otherwise, Herb. 63 parliamentarians, including the 6 alleged criminals, plus they had a couple dozen that they are investigating for illicit enrichment themselves. Get it, the 6 alleged criminals get $150 million. Herb, what do you think about that?
Well, you have that, each parliamentarian, I believe, gets 20 million for their community. I believe that's what the figure is.
No, they just got $22 million the other day. This is another $150 million. It's $40 billion. It's $40 billion.
So you're saying on top of that, they get another 150 million?
I just read it today. It's just because I'm using all my devices. It's a $40 billion budget. And you said $40 billion, 63 parliamentarians get $150 million. So to do roads across, to fix squeaky roads across the country, right in time for election.
Right. That's the key word you just used. He is going to sell them on a quick fix. And what's a quick fix? You put some white marl in the hole, you put the tar over it, and all of a sudden, everybody's cars, you see them complain every night on TVJ or CVM or some other station, how them car front end mash up, axle mash up, tires busted, right? Can't come across the river because the bridge gone. So them go through the riverbed and them look if them can get them car out of there. So many things going wrong with these communities. And there is nothing in sight that the Prime Minister can come up with. And they have the nerve to go to the school to tell them. He did this in 2022 as well, January 2022. And he comes right back in 24 and doing it again. Tell them no budget to spend on education, health, and security. That their parents had to make sacrifices to pay taxes. Guess what? This is the same man who tells Zara Burton when she asks him, why you take your money and bank it in St. Lucia? Mark Golan do the same thing. And what does he say? Well, I don't want to pay no taxes. And this is coming from the Prime Minister of Jamaica.
Yeah.
Right? He's urging the kids to appreciate the value of education and hard work to achieve their goals. And he's telling them what they have to look forward to. They might be able to work in the banking industry, or they may end up getting a job as a contractor doing some kind of service, right? Service for the phone company or for JPS or somebody. There's no jobs. You have kids that leave college, right? That are computer science majors, and they can't get a job. And then they turn around and become hackers because they can make a lot of money hacking people's systems.
True.
So, and that came out of his mouth. So you tell me now, what do these kids have to look forward to? Because the hacking business and the scamming business pay money. And if they can join a gang that can teach them to hack or to scam, it's a better outcome for them. And it makes the life of the Jamaican who's making it miserable, because all of a sudden, well, let me back up. Last year, $1 billion, according to the statement made in Parliament, disappeared from people's bank accounts.
I was just going to ask you about that, Herb. And my question to that, go ahead.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think maybe Michael won't comment. The because he was in the banking system in Jamaica. How does money end up leaving people's account and then don't withdraw it? How do poor people who have millions of dollars in their account end up, the woman was 1.6 million she had, and she ended up with $636 in her account, and she don't withdraw a single penny. So where's the accountability? Who's signing the withdrawal slip? Who's giving them the money across the counter?
Well, what about this old man, 105-year-old old man who have no online footprint, nowhere, take his bank book to the bank, get his cash and go home. No ATM card, nothing at all. They swipe his account.
Yep. See, these are the things that the government need to fix so that families don't suffer. But they, again, have the best qualified people on the police force. They have a police force of about 15,000. So how in the hell they can't resolve these problems?
It's simple. The banks are part of the solution, but they are the problem. The banks have not made security priority one. Because if the banks had to make security priority one, and it was costing them by failing to make security priority one, the problem would have been fixed already. It's just because, listen, you go to the counter to draw money from an account you don't own, but your friend is the teller. Where is the accountability right there? Jamaica issues driver's license. The banks make enough money to invest in a secure system wherever the license can be vouched right there. The picture of the person who's drawing the money should be right there. Because if your picture is in the bank and you don't have any account, it should be looking to have a conversation with you as to how you drawing out the money you don't own. But the banks are part of the problem. Listen, the government can't fix everything. But what you can do is pass laws that hold the banks accountable. That way the consumer is protected. So therefore, if you pass a law that says if the bank's control just so weak as to allow random and excessive theft, you can find the bank to the point where you can shut them down. The bank would be more vigilant. The bank would see which teller is always caught in that position.
So what you're saying, Michael, right here.
Complicit.
So Michael, what you're saying here now is that government now do them job. No accountability. Bank now get drip up. Bank now get drip up and shake up. Niger Clark now do nothing. FID now do nothing. FSC now do nothing.
That's it. But you see, it's not just basic. The problem is thinking the government has all the answers. They don't. All right? What the government has, the people in the parliament must pass laws. That's their job to legislate. Pass laws where accountability starts becoming expensive. You are an old person, you're 105 or whatever, 95, 85, don't matter, you're old. You thought you have X, Y, Z in the bank and you're going to find you have zero? Sympathy can't cut it. There has to, look, you have a thing called insurance protection in the banks, and they're boasting 600,000. Right? You have to raise that limit to $2 million if that's the right average of people, the account size they have. And you have to also the rules who says the banks don't start meeting certain security measures and they should be audited by whom? By the Inspector General and held accountable. Goes back to my original statement, Carlos. the institutions of accountability, transparency, and integrity are failing. If they are failing, then the Jamaican people will fail. Because everybody said the government. The government is not a cure-all. They can't do everything. I have learned that over the years. But the government can be effective in implementing changes to hold private industry accountable, thereby protecting the consumer, which is the average Jamaican. And it doesn't matter whether you're a middle class or low class or upper class or no class. Your money is protected. But because there are no rules that force accountability, what's accountability mean? Jail time and paying fines.
Mm.
Okay? You have a fine where you can pay 10 times what the person had in their bank account as punitive damage. How fast do you think that problem fixed? Last night, it fixed, by. And that's the problem.
Thank you, brother.
So, our institutions are failing us, Carlos, and the leadership is failing us, and all the checks and balances. If you have compromised the judiciary, then all is lost.
So, as a country failing, would you say we're looking at a failed state in the making, and a little bit of Haiti down the road?
My brother, I don't know if we can get down the road at this rate.
Jaja.
I don't know if we can get down the road at this rate. And you know, look, we're not talking about stupid people. Your Minister of Finance is a bright fella, very intelligent, very articulate. Okay, could even be a possible candidate for Prime Minister in the future.
Not anymore. I don't think anymore. I think he's soil right up.
Listen, but Carlos, no, listen. But he represents, he represents in many ways the excellence of Jamaicans,
Mm-hmm.
The man is an accomplished person.
But
and we should celebrate his accomplishments because our country is small. We like to boast that we lick about Talawa, and his excellence is part of that.
Yeah.
No, I am sad.
But his integrity ain't right. In the integrity. So
there it is. Because the questions surrounding the finance situation in Jamaica are many. And he has yet to separate himself from the crowd. I unfortunately read an article today that talks about the level of thuggery within the government and the opposition. And it mentioned people by name who have different posses to make their position tenable, whereas if based on merit, they wouldn't otherwise be tenable. So this is what I'm telling you about. Jamaica might change its name to Crime Inc. Crime Incorporated, because when that such a heavy presence of thuggery is in the government.
That's true.
Okay? When you have videos going out for people buying votes with $100, US dollars, not Jamaican dollars, $100 US are buying votes, there is a problem.
Wow.
And there were many, many videos of that in the last election. So whether you stayed home and didn't vote, or you're apathetic and didn't want to vote, it's the same thing. The people who are involved in the thuggery and the underbelly of Jamaica get to run the country.
Wow.
And there are so many good things that can happen and are still happening in spite of that. The question at base is, where do we go from here?
Well,
this is a perfect paradox. It's a perfect storm.
Well, at this point, may I call on Herb right now. Herb, I'm sure you have heard about the banking system look like that collapse. People money get teeth out, and we see Nigel Clark doing nothing about it. Herb, what I want to say is like everybody's a derelict in their duty. All this problem we talk about tonight, all this topic brought up, it always come up to the one thing like Michael said.
There he is. this.
Nobody doing anything. Herb.
Is impeccable.
What can we do from over here?
This just finished because I went to grab a bite.
It's about leadership, my friend.
And here you are.
You know.
So
it's Ian,
mute your mic, Ian. Mute your mic.
So we're gonna go.
Ian, mute your mic.
Eject the disc.
Mute your mic, Ian, please. Let's mute your mic.
Good.
Leave it in. You want to sign in? Come on, sign in then.
Oh Lord have mercy.
Mute your mic, Ian.
Yeah, because we do need it in there to do what it needs to do. So
it's not hearing.
Ian, mute your mic. Mute your mic, Ian, please, if you hear me.
Okay.
All right. Herb, what I'm saying now is that what can we do over here to hold them accountable in terms of any laws the US have over here? Because we see that nobody is doing it for us.
Is it
Michael?
Or I just shut it down and then
No.
Okay.
We have brought
the district utility to the trash.
Hold on, it's disturbing urban.
Hold on. Let me see if I can.
Call it on the next number.
All right.
Call it on the next number.
See if it's closed. Yeah. All right. So let's do that. Let's just shut down. Yeah, because you have to boot into it anyway. So I could restart or shut down. Which one? Okay, cool. Yes, gentlemen.
Mute your phone, Michael, please. Mute your mic. Mute your mic. Thank you. Go, Herb. Can you hear me now, Herb? Unmute your mic, Herb. Unmute your mic.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right. I got you. Yeah. We have now in the diaspora introduced the laws that we know will impact them. I mentioned before that visas were taken away from several people around 2015 to 2020, right? And the reasoning behind that is because the people were engaged in some serious criminal activities, and they had unexplained affluence, unexplained wealth, right? So you have to now look at what is happening in the US, right, to combat that. And so you look at the different things that myself and Mr. Rattigan has been speaking about of late. For instance, we don't want the trio from Ministry of Foreign Affairs running the diaspora, right? They have appointed themselves and an individual in the UK to control the Global Diaspora Council. And so when you talk about, having control of your destiny, having control over your people, we don't want people here answering to the Jamaican government when they're doing wrong, when they are corrupt. So we need to shake any vestige of control on the part of Kingston at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And we need to make it known to them that you have the Foreign Agent Registration Act, that none of their people here in the United States or applicable regulations in the UK and in Canada, they're not registered.
None of them are registered. Are you saying none of them are registered, Herb? Nobody.
Huh?
None of them are registered.
Nobody registered. None of them.
Is that illegal in the United States? Is that against the United States laws?
It's illegal. Then they talk about their records and stuff is secret. It's not secret. The US says you must make your files, whether it's digital or hard copies, available for inspection. Because you just want to make sure that you have no spies in the midst. They're not taking secret information out of the country and taking it back to Jamaica, whether it's trade secrets or other national security secrets. Right? And you'll get arrested because you're not in compliance with the registration. Right? Now, the other big one that we spoke about is the Magnitsky Act, which was passed by the U.S. Congress, Barack Obama, back in 2012, December. And it had to do with Sergei Magnitsky, who was a tax lawyer who was killed in a Moscow prison in 2009. And it deals with corruption in the governments. Recently, you saw a lot of boats, luxury yachts and stuff being seized. You see a lot of things, bank accounts being seized, right? Anything of financial value, houses, right? Condos, apartments with all the upscale furniture and stuff. They're getting seized. Because people are corrupt and they think that living outside the country and using the U.S. banking system for transfers and stuff, they think they're going to get away with it, and they're not. So when they pass that act, right, it's now going to take a look. You know, when you look at the Paraguayan president who left office and thought that all the payoffs he did with his parliamentarians were mad them on a system of payoffs for passing certain bills. And his vice president, who's still active, they didn't think that they could be prosecuted, but they gone down. And it's because they were corrupt. They were doing corrupt things. So if you pay off your judges, whether you want to do it using the legal system, like give them a 20, 30 million pay raise, right? Whether you want to pay off your auditor general and your DPP, okay, it's not going to make things easier. Those things are going to be investigated as to how you avoided prosecution or detection for prosecution by paying these people off.
Basically put a wall around you.
You put a wall around you, but Uncle Sam is saying, no, that's not going to work. And the last one Biden signed on the 22nd of December has to do with bribing foreign officials or you bribing U.S. officials. They close the loop. Because if you bribe anybody, now they can prosecute you, even though you may be overseas and think you're untouchable. Everybody have a visa. Everybody want to visit the United States, or you visit U.S. territory that the U.S. has a agreement with where they can extract you. All of these things are going to be brought to bear on these corrupt people. Because enough is enough. Prime Minister don't need to go back to the high school and make his sorry speech anymore. Because they might be taking his 193 million that he declared and doing something worthwhile for these kids.
Wow.
And the same thing applies to the rest of his henchmen who have been corrupt over the decades and think that they're home scot-free. And Uncle Sam is going to say, no, you're not scot-free. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I have a question here. I don't know if maybe you or Michael can answer it, but in terms of the banks, where people are losing their money, everywhere, Herb, It's an epidemic right now, the bank. Pay chopping are going at the bank. And up till no, we don't hear Nigel Clark come say anything. Sitting on his hands like he's derelict in his duty. So is there anything that can be done on the US side to discipline these bank owners or Nigel Clark? For the Jamaican people, can the people have nobody to go to, Herb? Is there no way can be fixed from our side?
Well, brother, you're talking about a worldwide problem where billions of dollars disappear from Latin America, from Asia, from North America, from all over. And these are cyber crimes most of the time, right? You know, according to the Bank of Jamaica, banks are victims of an average of 2 cyber attacks every week. Now, why you think about that? Right? In a single month, cyber criminals steal about $10 million. Right? And the report that they put out identify theft as a major cybercrime act in Jamaica. Right? So, online technologies, you know, not all our people are elderly or old, have a good head. They barely know how to turn on a computer.
But the thing we are talking about, Herb, when the bank fail to get security, like here in America, you know, if you click on any link and they swipe your money from your account, you're going to get back your money, right? You know, if somebody hack into a card, because it happened to me in Florida here, I didn't have to go back to the bank to recoup my money and get a different card. I'm talking about these things where the bank not care about nobody. It's like no security, no setup. What they are telling the people, they must go to a police station and they must get a lawyer. There's a lady who tells me she get a lawyer. There's another system here, Herb, where we have the bank tellers scamming the people, because this lady told me that her aunt went to the bank. Her aunt can barely see. The aunt wanted $9,000. I asked the teller who she trusted to write the withdrawal slip for her. The teller had a zero on it. So the teller withdraw $90,000, give the woman the $9,000, and she sat on $81,000. The old lady went back to do a withdrawal from her account. She only have $39 in it. I asked her niece, are you saying $39,000? She said, no, $39. So even the teller, it's just to show you how cold-hearted. The teller said that it's $39 in there. So the teller scrape out everything, left $39. So a lot of it, Herb, is happening at these banks too.
Yeah, well, I think Michael partially addressed that earlier, right? Because he spoke about the government passing laws that will require the banks to step up their security, right? You know, the banks have enormous profits and they need to invest more in the customer care business. They need to, as he was saying, you know, they said NIDS, but you really don't need NIDS. All you need is that driver's license and validation of that address and a phone number every time that customer steps up, and make sure that their address even exists. Invest in a clearinghouse system that you can scan that driver's license or ID card, NIDS or otherwise, to make sure the address exists in the KSAMC or any parish that registers that home, that registers the home as a tax-paying household, right? So you have to have these things in place. When banks, you know, banks since 2014, their costs have increased 300%. Why? Because of the onset of COVID-19. Financial institutions that use alternate platforms on which customers could conduct business because they didn't want you face to face with the tellers. Right? Remember, they want to put all these glass things in front of the tellers and cashiers at the supermarket and cashiers all over.
Yes.
Because people would cough, right? And these people, everybody was getting COVID. So they know now how to avoid all of that. And they know that there are simple fixes, right? Plastic panels attached to the wrought iron bars in front of the teller. And that way, and you have a little slot open at the bottom. That way, nobody going to cough in your face or spit in your face. When they speak, they spit flying and you get infected. So you have a lot of things that the banks learned during the COVID period. And a lot of people had to use their online accounts during COVID, and they didn't understand security. They didn't understand having anti-malware, antivirus, anti-spyware, and all these things activated on the system to avoid people coming in and ripping them off. And then you saw new methodologies where people would use AI to mimic a voice that belongs to a relative, right? And they'd send a message to somebody's parents saying, hey, I'm in an accident and I need all this money so I can fix this guy's vehicle because I was in the wrong, or I need this money to pay a hospital bill or whatever. Send the money quickly because I need to get out of this hospital. And then because they use the AI to mimic that voice. Where I could imitate your voice or they imitate mine, they send the money because it sounds real.
Yeah, I saw that the other day.
But they need to find ways now to validate before they send anything. They need to have a secondary system set up. When you get a recording and you're going to call the phone, if the phone is going to be busy during the day, then you may have to have an email system that you use to do that validation. Or you may have to have a secondary person like knowing your boss, where we can call the boss or your wife or somebody and get them to check to see if you're really in the hospital or if there's a problem. But all of these scams are hitting people in Jamaica.
Big time, man.
Yeah.
Big time, man.
Big time.
Poor people in the brother. The other day I saw a young girl, can't remember more 18 to 20. She come on social media, she a ball. She's trying to do the right thing by working and saving her money. She come on social media balling. Man, the only reason why she come on social media balling because there's no recourse. She can't go in a bank or call a bank and get her money back and get anything fixed. She know it's gone. So many people. So Michael, do you have any we are up here for over an hour and a half now. Time fly when we're having fun. Are there any last thought, Michael, or anything to add, my brother? Please. Michael there? Herb?
He's still on.
Hey, Michael?
Call Ian.
Ian, are you there? Probably step away from the phone.
He might have. Yeah.
We don't fall asleep yet, man. So Herb, anything in there anyone spill to any knowledge, any advice, anything, just give us something in their last final thought.
Look, we talk about Farah and we talk about Magnifique. Hold on a second. We need your last comments. All right. I think he's back now.
Okay. Ian.
Yes, gentlemen.
Yeah, you're back, my brother. What are your final comment, man? Anything you want to say before we wrap it up? Because we've been up here for a little time. In time fly, we're having fun, my brother.
No
I really
problem.
appreciate you.
You're more than welcome, Carlos. Listen, it's a privilege to share my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, listen, politics, for all the problems we've had over the years, whether in any country, politics, I still think, is the best way for the redistribution of wealth to occur. The problem I'm having with the government of Jamaica, and to a lesser extent, the people of Jamaica, is that there are too many instances of reported malfeasance without any apparent accountability. We can talk about the ministry. When during the COVID era, they got funds from overseas.
Mm-hmm.
And we hear how many millions of dollars can be accounted for. We now have a report by the Auditor General of $1.7 billion unaccounted for. $1 trillion, rather. The painful part of that is $700+ billion of that $1.7 trillion pertains to education. And the government is at a standoff with the teachers as far as paying them a livable wage.
Mm-hmm.
These are critical problems that harm the country beyond description. We must find a way forward where the people of Jamaica can have the integrity of the government restored, because you can't have a rogue government running a country. I think it's time for the opposition to be a real opposition, or step aside in their ranks and allow those people who are willing to be vocal about the harming of the people of Jamaica to speak out.
Mm-hmm.
But too many people are too silent on these issues. And this is not who Jamaica has ever been. This is not who Jamaica. Jamaica was a country that started the boycott of South Africa when apartheid was so terrible. We had a moral conscience then. I hope we haven't lost that moral conscience.
Jaja. Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your platform.
Enough love, my brother. Brother Herb.
No.
Spit anything you have to tell me, my brother.
All right, I just unmuted. Look, to your listeners, thanks for listening, and thanks for sharing your time with us. And Carlos, thanks for the invitation.
Enough love, man.
Look, we've been fighting this fight steadily for the last 7 years. There's a lot of people upset with us because we're now protesting. But protest is one form of demonstrating that will get your attention. And once we get your attention, we'll hope you're paying attention. Because we don't need to go to the next steps unless it's absolutely, positively necessary.
True.
We don't need to ruin anybody or ruin anybody's life. But the fact is, the corruption exists everywhere and in everything in Jamaica. And you don't have any ability to straighten up and fly right, as we say. You don't seem to have that ability because you're committed to your corrupt acts.
Mm-hmm.
You're so committed, you don't believe in any of the laws that govern anything that we talk about. And when you have a leader that is lost, that has lost his way, that has no recourse, when him tell people what he wants them to do and they tell him no, then you need a change. No ifs, ands, or buts. You need a change. So the bottom line is, either tomorrow he could wake up, talk about the corruption in his midst, talk about his own transgressions, and come clean.
Yeah.
That would sure as hell shock everybody, but at least he would probably regain the confidence of the majority of people once again. You don't go to people's kids talking to them about your shortcomings and why you're coming up short.
Yeah, to the school. In the school.
It makes no sense.
Have you
You
ever
won't
seen
go
that?
to the school, go to the college, universities.
Yes.
Let them educate you, because the kids in high school cannot.
Yep.
Yeah.
They went to the school there.
But, you know, that's the story, my friend.
Right.
You know, and I hope your listeners learn from the things we've been talking about, because if you're not involved, you need to get off the bench and get in the game.
You hear, guys?
Right?
You're telling
You need
me.
to talk, educate your family members and your friends. And thanks again, Carlos.
Thank you, Herb. I really appreciate you. Thank you, Michael. Thank you guys for the knowledge and education to me and my community. I really appreciate you guys so much. Next time, okay?
Carlos, thank you for your platform, and thank your listeners for listening. I hope I helped.
Man, enough love,
Be
man.
blessed.
Yes, man, enough love.
Enough love, my brother. Enough love.
Respect.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
One love.
People will think about that. That was wonderful. That was Herb Nelson Jr. and his accountant. Come speak some knowledge to us out here. I just can hear the man, my 2-yard man, them. 2 proud yard man who live over abroad who wants the best for them country. You understand me, people? So, guys, thank you guys for tuning in, hearing and watching this video. Maybe big up Robert Hunter. Big up Wade Noble. Big up Sasha Lewis. Big up Harry Frey. Arlen Foster. JP. Debbie Jervis. Pamela McNeil. Arlen Forrest. Latisha Elliott. All the new people over there now. Rels White. I'm going to say Producer Wayne Global TV up here. When you go check him out, people. Producer Wayne Global TV. My brother from another mother, I do a wonderful work over there in England. As hot as cold as England be, he hot up the place for the internet. Check out Producer Wayne Global TV. Walter Robinson. Yeah, man. Every Jamaican need to educate themselves when it comes to politics, government, and corruption. Did you know that, Walter? The video that I played earlier with the clips of the Prime Minister speaking with the students. You know, so lazy, but me not play that, what you said a while ago. I lazy, you know. I was so tired, because it take me hours to do that. Because there's a part in that speech where the Prime Minister was talking to the youths. And he was naming out every subject. And that's what caught my attention, Brother Walter. What caught my attention is the Prime Minister was naming out every subject that him think the student they must have in school, in maths, in English, in science, and this and that. One subject the Prime Minister did not mention, Walter, was civics. Remember them? Remember they kick out civics out of school, and them say, at some school them have civics. I'm not even sure. If anybody know of any school teaching civics, your students, comment section, talk to me. Only so we can communicate. Somebody there in Jamaica right now, watch me. Your students that get civics in a class, in a school. Because Flavor did tell us that she got to bring back civics in the school. And why that subject, civics? Why would they remove civics of all the subjects? No social studies, no Spanish. Why remove civics? That's like a roots of a culture, making know about government, how things work. Why remove civics? Bel Air High School, man, never So them have civics and Bel Air High School. Chantel Honest, talk to me. We could educate each other in this community and we could move and pass from information and ideas. That's how we share and that's how we use this platform to educate each other. Civics is being taught since September 2023. So civics back in a school. All right, anybody else? Any other school? Civics. So Flavor bring back civics since last year September. All right, make us see it. But look at the big gap. And why would they remove civics? I will move civics. Me say the PNP move civics. Ain't it true to that? What year did they move civics, Chantel? You was a teacher there, so I thank you. You see, they are the right person to ask, family. Teacher. How would they move civics out of school, teacher? Tell me how. Which one of them bright government take out civics out of school? They could know that. Please. Because whatever they were trying to them accomplish it, you know. Whatever they was trying to gain or accomplish, them accomplish it. Because the youth they're not busy with nothing. The youth they're not busy with government or not work, they're no business. There's a blank spot in the population. So teacher says she's now in the USA teaching. Hey, we know you have to run it too. We know send across the Mexican border you come, but hey, if I've been there, it's all right. We don't pressure the family. That's a joke. You have to do what you have to do today. You have to do what you have to do to buy food, put on your family table, keep a roof over your head and clothes on your back. You hear me? Nobody now bring nothing on a platter come give you. Every man have to decide them own destiny. That's why I teach her so she have to do what she have to do. Come on, guys. Don't tell me what I go on. Nobody know when them take civics out of school, who take it out of school, what year. Anybody. And if you guys watching me now, when this live is over, even when you see the dead live, come in now, man, go back and check me. Every now and then I run through the comment section looking for education and looking for that knowledge. If you guys see this live, people, please put it in the comment section and tell me who shut down civics out of school. Because we don't want to know whose bright idea it was. All in far say, me say, the JLP party don't want nothing good for our country. Ramaswamy said we're talking about put civics back in that school, red, white. We see that we see. Civics, how never move civics from school, people. Make you know what go on, make you know a little bit more government. Make you have some pride in your country. Make you know want to drop a sweetie paper on the ground. Civics, you know. Whatever they were looking, whatever results, they accomplish it. A part of the generation mash up, you know. Nah, man. Now I'm in the UAE. She's in the United Arab Emirates. Big up yourself, family. Chantel Honest. She's in the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. Bless up yourself, family. Donovan Ross, Wagwan. May the blessing of God stay over you and your family, brother. You ain't going out and coming in a protection, brother. God are God. Bless up yourself. Wade Noble, Wagwan. Manners and respect. Bless up, man. Ekran Sound System, Wagwan. Bless up yourself. Bless up. Daisy Magazine. Wagwan, sister. Enough love. It's one thing to take civics out of school. It's another to update the civics curriculum and keep it in schools. It's one thing to take civics out of schools. It's another to update the civics curriculum and keep it in the schools. Jaja. People, all them move civics, people. What were they trying to gain from that? They will try to let the youth them just like them is right now. Just like them is right now. Them young youth up to voting age, they don't know nothing about civics, you know. There's a big SWAT, a generation that know nothing about civics. They might accomplish their dream. Natalie Freeman said, yes, Carlos. Producer Wayne doing very well. Of course, Producer Wayne are doing good. We have to give it to him. The man in the pass on the platform and do a wonderful job. The man sit down in the driving seat and start driving and press gas. Say, right, Wayne, are you that? Lord God. Platform looking good like a CNN and MSNBC and all that, and man highly professional. Talk truth, people. Yeah, man. So you know, I'm going to tell you guys, go check out platform where I believe I do good. Yeah. And doing a wonderful work as a patriot for the country. Big up all the bloggers that when they're in there for your money, you know. We are doing for grand people them. Big up all the bloggers that when they see color, you know. Big up all the people who follow me when they see color either. Because some people follow me when they see color, you know. Me have people follow me when they see color. Them call me sometime when I hear them calling. Mr. Grey and all them man there. Them man don't see color. Mark will get lick. Andrew will get lick see away. No color. But as you can hear Herb and Ian said tonight, Brother Herb and Ian, what them say? Opposition now do no work. The wall and the fence that is supposed to hold politicians accountable in Jamaica. Failing. Not working. The people who is supposed to hold government accountable. The people have more power than the people with power. The people have more power than the people with power. If the people who have more power than the people with power, silent. What is that? These men also talk about the opposition who's supposed to come out and stand up for the people against oppression. People, how many times me tell you that? You guys didn't need Herb and Brother Ian to come here, come tell me. How many times me tell you, say, Mark Golden and dance good for me. And the only way Andrew Owens I get to win is because we have a weak opposition. He begged me for one if Mark Golden want to win. And as I hear Brother Ian said a while ago, if you don't want this, step out of the way, make somebody who want this get it. Don't be an hindrance and a roadblock for making Virgin Andrew Owens win because the one of them might be making money right now. If you don't want to win, come out of the way. Because this is not it. While they out there run up and down and they campaign trail, Andrew Owens dominates. Where is the opposition? And don't tell me you're going to have a handful of people up in there and them have 40-something. You hear the man them attack. You hear the same thing from Herb. The same thing from Ian. Where is the opposition? Seems as if us bloggers are the opposition now. It look like we need to get that one brown envelope, man. People, talk the truth. We need to get a brown envelope. Can I collect some way the opposition, boy? Yeah? It look like we need to get a brown envelope to man. On the box cover, where is the opposition in all of this? Every day is just mayhem, mayhem, mayhem. You see, all the time you see opposition, I go to some local political party, them orange shirt and stuff. You know, come out and grab the bull by the hand, brother. How much time I say that? I want to say that some of the people don't love that, you know. But look at the good, no, man. And the same thing Brother Ian said, and the same thing Herb said. The system now hold politicians accountable. The people now hold them accountable. Opposition now hold them accountable. And opposition get good pay. Very good pay, 300% raise. So it seems as if the opposition eat now, because they have more money now to eat, fall asleep, have the itis. This PNP party is not impressing me. When everything we see it, people, how can the opposition when I see things? You think that the party in the power can do certain things in America and hear from the opposition party? You think Biden can do nothing, boy? I hear from a Republican in the hallway somewhere, if I'm on Twitter, somewhere you're gonna hear. Me say, I think the Democrat can do anything up as so. I want to do something that work and it's good and positive. Do you think they can do anything? And you don't hear from the Republican? So many things Andrew Honest do. Mark Golding will come out. Every now and then, Blue Moon and guys, I say, guys, check Mark Golding is not like that. He's a nice guy. He's a soft guy. People. That getting still and tired now, man. While we see Andrew Honest, I make movement. Now stop. Where Mark there? Where Mark there to say, yo, I just we bloggers. They make mention also, Herb and Ian make mention of the news media. Not holding nobody accountable. The people and the opposition are the three they mentioned. You know? The news media, the people, and the opposition. People, if none of them now work, would feel. The news media now work. The people them afraid. Opposition with them, we don't see them. So the only column that is left is us vloggers when the couples have come look at dollar. When I swing for orange and yellow and green material. And remember we can't afford to let down the people them now. Can we see it? The news media feel them. Opposition feel them. The people them weak. You know, say what the last man standing, bloggers. Win. Global TV, you there. And we alone them out here. All the good bloggers and them out. You hear me name them all the time. Them out there. You don't know them too. Them are not a stranger to some of you. But if I love passa more than go up on a good blogger page, go get educated. Look on the blogger there where I talk about people business. Look on the blogger there where I talk about people business. Go up on them page where grow. Look what money they make. Them a page they make money, people. Me so I'm gonna put on my cup on social media. God no. Me ever so put up my other shoes and all them things that like the fireman to collect money. No, but seriously. Me so I'm gonna put up my shoes. We start collect pennies. Can you know what I notice? Good vloggers like us, we don't get rich people. We don't get the money. And then we get the money, and I tell you guys all the time. And a page like this get the money. It's not page like this get the crowd either. You have to put some passa. And that's how the people go hitch up. Look for the vlogger them who do passa. I mean, I beat them. Because they have them audience when they build them page so hard to build a page. And they have them audience sit down and wait for the passa. But look at the passa blogger them page people. Line out that door long around 2 blocks. And never make all the money. The blogger they will kind of stick a man video and just post it on them page and just look at them and laugh and say, tell me what you're thinking in the comment section or on the end. I never make all the money. And then I have to do no video like this. We do a video to them and tell us, guys, it take me hours to do. Hours. The previous video before this, it took me hours. We never go up on the Prime Star page and go to a video where the Prime Star talk. Tired, you know. You need medicine. Just so you can listen. The Prime Star attack people. You know how that is? And that's hard. And go through the whole speech and pick out the parts someone have to play for you guys. It might look simple. It took me hours. Some bloggers now have to do that. They get up to my let me go up on social media, switch video hot. Then get it. Slice it and dice it, put them picture on it, put them tag on it. I own it. I get money from it, whole part money. Views. I'm a content creator right there, so. So I move from the blogger thing. I'm a journalist. Independent journalist. I don't too much dig up and reading and background research to come present my stuff to you guys. Some of them make no mistakes, so they look at me like an idiot. Because one mistake, you know, One misleading story can damage your credibility. I'm going to try so hard, not even if I have one. I've been doing good so far, don't it? So, I cut out this blogger thing. Man, an independent journalist. What am I say? Independent journalist. Leave blogger for some man who copy and paste people picture. And them, they are blogger. They are independent journalists. That's the difference. All right, guys, so remember that. They cut out the blogger. If people make a mistake, remember, say, years back, I call the same blogger. So, come with the 2x4 and say, Carlos, you're mad. Take back your journalist title. Independent journalists, people like us, we go out there and read and study. We don't just put some nonsense out there. However, guys, as usual, guys, I'm always a student in a guys' class, just so you know that. As independent journalists, we could have be till we can't be no more. I am always a student in a your guys' class. Can't be bigger than one. Make sure your comments make sense in every sentence. Don't feed me the nonsense. Don't feed this community with the nonsense. Make sure your comments make sense in every sentence. And if this is the first time on my platform, you like the work I'm put in, you even like the interaction in the comment section, you like the energy or the aura. Runners are always cool, no people. See what always stay. Nice and quiet on the street, yeah. No crime, no break-ins. You don't even hear helicopter flying around. You don't even siren around this here parts. Run it very quiet. Go ahead and subscribe on YouTube and follow me on Facebook page and make this your home. But hold on. Before you do so, why don't you drive around the community and come back at night? Just in case anything changed. That means check out other video I do before and see if yes, I will really want to stay. That later on, you see me do another video and they cuss out me in the comment section and in an entanglement with me, the people in my comment section. We have family runners up. You guys are not my fan. You guys are my family. One blood runners up. What am I say? All right. You guys are not my fans. You guys are my brothers and my sister. Me don't care where you come from. Who are my brother and sister. Me don't care the complexion. Me don't care the background. Me don't care your religion. Me don't care your sexual orientation. Me don't care what you do, people. You are my brother and my sister. Brothers and sisters on this platform. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you guys for hanging up with Carlos. Enough love, enough respect. And again, I just want to send a shout out to Herb and Brother Ian. I can't tell you how much I really appreciate you guys coming out here, come express something I couldn't really explain. Some stuff I really couldn't explain myself. Sometimes I have to call in the experts. And moving forward, people will be having guests on my platform to come answer certain things. Yeah? Yes, me I say. I'll be having guests on my platform moving forward. You know what do you people? Yeah. Come here, some interested people I'd like to introduce you guys to. A lot of people with a lot of knowledge. And that's what we're going to do moving forward. Introduce you to some people on my platform. And I'm going to bring them up live in the studio. So when we go to the studio, but right now I'm sure you guys hear me. Thank you so much, guys. Respect, okay? Jamaican Carlos, I'm out. Respect.